my wife admitted. I'm going to spend a few years with other men to gain experience, and you'll have to live by my rules. I laughed thinking she was kidding, but she was dead serious. So I replied, fine, then I'll be comparing you with other women. She blew up instantly, and that's when things took a wild turn. You know, there are moments in life that just shatter everything you thought you knew. I'm talking about that gut punch moment when you realize the person you've built your entire world with has fundamentally betrayed you, and then smugly tells you she's just getting started. For Travis Wesley, that moment came on a seemingly ordinary Monday. He'd had a good day at work, even left whistling a cheerful tune. But when he walked into his kitchen, he saw his wife, Lauren, sitting there, a sly smile playing on her lips, and his favorite whiskey bottle between them. He dropped his briefcase, poured himself a glass, and sat down. What's the secret, Lauren? He asked, a prickle of unease already starting to form. What he saw in her eyes sent a shiver down his spine. Do you think I've been a good wife and mother all these years? She asked, calm as a lake. Travis, a thoughtful man, considered this. Yes, he said. I think so. What are you trying to say? His composure was hanging by a thread. Then she dropped the bomb, her voice still eerily calm. Today I want to go on a date with another man. He felt the bile rise. His mind went utterly blank like a wiped slate. A date with another man? He choked out. She looked at him as if he was the simple one, nodding slowly. Yes. With another man, Trav. I haven't been on a date since we became exclusive 24 years ago. I've been a good wife, a good mother. I deserve a night with another man. A chance to try someone new, not for love, just for pleasure. I'm 47, I can't stay beautiful forever. I want to try more men while I'm still a desirable woman, and can have them with the snap of my fingers. His jaw literally dropped. He knew he'd heard her right, but surely she wasn't serious? Before he could even ask, she nodded, as if reading his thoughts. Damn, he muttered as she stood, heading upstairs to change. When she came back down, she looked stunning. A little black dress, barely there makeup, her long blonde hair in a high ponytail. She was a vision, and she knew it. She saw him, completely hers in that moment. Then I won't let this happen, Lauren, Travis said, pushing himself up from the table. I don't know what you're thinking, but you won't do this while remaining my wife. Her bright smile twisted into an ugly sneer. You won't ruin this evening for me, Trav. You can speak harshly, but you know you won't divorce me. Where will you find a woman like me? Nowhere. And you know it. The children will be angry at you for destroying our family. Suck it up, Travis. Let me have fun for a few years. Then it'll be just you and me again, and we'll grow old together. You know you love me. You don't want to be left alone for the rest of your life while I have men to choose from. A car horn blared outside. Lauren grabbed her tiny bag and walked over, trying to kiss him goodbye. He flinched, pulling away as if from an electric shock. Her expression shifted from surprise to hurt, then to pure anger. I'll be back home. I don't know when, she spat and walked out. He watched in horror as the door closed. Could 23 years of marriage really be over? It looked like it. She didn't even look back. Lauren had always had it easy. Genetically blessed. She'd learned early on that a flutter of eyelashes or a subtle chest puff could get her anything she wanted from boys. Travis had fallen under her spell the moment he saw her in 8th grade. He was a good athlete, popular, but she was in another league. He managed to date her in high school, but then she dumped him for the football team's starting quarterback. Travis, shorter and lighter, accepted it. He knew she was out of his league just like most guys were. She hung with the popular crowd. He was just another face in the hallway. Sometimes when they passed, she acted like he was a stranger. It hurt, but he learned to accept it. By his senior year, Travis had grown, filling out. He was handsome, athletic, but still not Lauren. Few were. He took his own girlfriend to prom. Lauren was queen. After high school, Travis went to Michigan State for accounting. Lauren went to Central Michigan marketing. She dated, slept with, and manipulated many men, even a professor, to get what she wanted. She was a master of the game. Pure coincidence brought them both to Grand Rapids for jobs. A year after graduating, Travis was out with colleagues when Lauren walked in. Every head turned. Who is this goddess? His friend Steve White croaked. Without thinking, Travis blurted, Gentlemen, that's Lauren, the goddess, and your humble servant's 8th grade girlfriend. The table stared at him. You dated her? They asked incredulously. He winced. Yeah, till junior year. Then she dropped me like a hot potato. She ignored me for 4 years after that, like I was the invisible man. So, any good groping stories? A colleague joked, and the table erupted in laughter. Lauren and her friends looked over. She squinted, recognizing Travis. I'll be right back, she announced, practically leaping to his table. Trav. Hello. So glad to see you, she exclaimed, beaming. Travis rolled his eyes at his friends, then put on a fake smile. Lauren, good to see you. She stepped into his personal space, kissing him tenderly on the lips, hands on his shoulders. His colleagues were stunned. Travis too was floored. Lauren knew it and smiled, a not-so-innocent smirk. She was in her element, playing him like a fiddle. Come to our table, I'll introduce you to the girls. She took his hand and practically dragged him. He spent most of the evening with them. Before he left, she took his phone, entered her number and got his. She was intrigued by his apparent indifference. This had never happened. He was polite but talked as much to her friends as to her. She kissed him several times, he never kissed back. Monday morning his colleagues grilled him. He told them he went home after an hour. She's impressive but she's 14 levels above me, he grumbled. I don't need that kind of grief. But grief found him 2 days later in the parking lot. He groaned when he saw her waiting by his car. Though he had to admit, in a dress a size too small, she looked incredible. Why didn't you call, Trav? She whispered as he approached. He tried not to let his eyes widen as he took her in, unbuttoned to her cleavage, the hem barely 5 centimeters below her crotch. Damn it, he muttered as she leaned in, wrapping her arms around his neck, pressing a kiss to his lips. He was defenseless as her tongue slid into his mouth like a snake. He dropped his briefcase and the kiss went on forever. His shocked colleagues quickly got into their cars and sped away. They went to a restaurant far from the city. Lauren spent most of lunch tugging at the bottom of her dress. Both Travis and the young waitress seemed to enjoy her struggle. Travis was wary, but he was just a man. When a scantily clad goddess turned on her charm, he was toast. The best he could hope for was to perform well in bed that night. Oh my God, Travis whispered to himself when he finally saw her naked. She was everything he had imagined. This was his only chance, he had to make it count. Afterwards, lying face to face, she smiled lecherously. Apparently I screwed up big time a few years ago, she whispered. You have amazing abilities. Who would have thought? If only I had known. We've lost several years. Lauren knew what was in front of her. Travis might not be her league in looks, but he was handsome, fit, and clearly on a good career path. And very good in bed, she thought, though she didn't say it. Despite his initial doubts, their relationship blossomed. Her beauty was obvious, but he genuinely fell in love with who she was. He bought an engagement ring. But before proposing, they had to talk about fidelity. She'd impressed him, but Travis wanted no unspoken doubts. I don't know much about your past, and I'm not asking for numbers or names, he said. What happened in the past stays in the past. Same for me. But I need to know about the future. From now on, I want us to be exclusive. Fully. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you don't believe you can do this, I need to know now. He placed the small black box between them. Lauren looked him dead in the eye, then at the box. I will never cheat on my husband. Never. Travis remembered those words. And that's why he couldn't believe this was happening. She wasn't cheating, she argued. She warned him. He knew that wasn't true. She expected, hoped he'd take it that way. Travis knew Lauren had had countless opportunities to cheat over the years, and as far as he knew, she'd rejected them all. She was a 10, maybe a 12. He considered himself a 6 at best. That left plenty of room for someone closer to her physical level to sweep in. Assuming no unknown affairs, she'd been a truly faithful wife for 23 years. He knew he should be grateful, but he wasn't. When he said, I love you, he meant forever, not a measly 23 years. Not a week went by without Lauren being hit on. Not just by men. She knew she was beyond beautiful, a rare goddess. When God created my wife, he had an exceptional day, Travis always said. At first, she told him every time, wanting to be transparent. But after a few years, he told her he trusted her. She didn't need to tell him unless the person didn't take no for an answer. Travis, on the other hand, was rarely approached. He used his wedding ring like a shield, talking about his wife and kids within minutes, extinguishing any sparks. He didn't even realize he was doing it. Their almost fairy tale marriage lasted 22 years until Rosa Esposito entered their proverbial Garden of Eden. Rosa, 42, married for 15 years, hated it. She had affairs with and without her husband's knowledge, and loved sharing the juicy details with Lauren. Her stories of intimacy with her lovers were fantastic. So you haven't tried anyone since you got married? Rose asked one day during a coffee break. You're a rock woman, but I don't believe you don't want to. Well, I'm curious, but I would never cheat on Travis, Lauren said. In recent months, Lauren had noticed she wasn't getting as much attention in bars. Younger women were. She started to doubt her ability to attract. What if hubby lets you try? Then what? Rose pushed. Lauren's face showed she'd never considered it. Her mind spun. I guess if I had permission, that would be a completely different story, she admitted, a mischievous grin spreading. Have you ever thought about asking? Rose urged. You know, everything worth having is worth asking for. Lauren's face lit up, then darkened. He will never give me permission. Never. Should I do everything for you? Rose whispered. Unspoken permission. Tell him, then take what you want regardless of his answer. Tell him he loves you enough to let you do this, that it has nothing to do with love, that you love only him. Travis was jolted awake by the sound of a car approaching. 3 a.m. He looked at the Woodford Reserve bottle, half gone. Great evening, he quipped as Lauren walked through the front door. She looked a cliché. Hair rumpled, makeup gone, clothes wrinkled. Not remorseful but smug. I could say the same to you, she hissed. You didn't have to wait. You know I'm going to sleep. And you can too, but never again in this life with you. He snapped back. She gave him a look of disgust and headed upstairs. Travis poured 3 more fingers of bourbon, turning back to ESPN. He spent the night in his folding chair, half sitting, half lying, stomach churning. Around 9 he finally got up and made breakfast. He heard the shower. Normally, Lauren would come down in a robe, hair wrapped. Not this morning. An hour later she emerged, impeccably dressed and made up. He expected nothing less. Did you happen to leave me something to eat? She asked. I made coffee. Cook your own. And since you're dressed, I think it's time to talk, he said, his voice clipped, devoid of emotion. Lauren was surprised. She'd expected him to foam at the mouth, to be irrational, easy to manipulate. Rational Travis will make this so much harder, she thought. Don't you want to know about last night? She asked, a note of superiority in her tone. Did she really think he wanted to hear about how he'd been cuckolded? Hardly. I want to know how you see our marriage moving forward, Travis said, his voice no louder than hers. As I said yesterday, I intend to try several other men over the course of a few years. Only intimacy, no love. I only love you, but I want to try a few more men while I still have the looks and the body. I gave everything to you for 23 years, and I never had a thought about betrayal. I want the thrill of something unfamiliar. You're wonderful in bed, but I want some variety. You know, have some other experience for a while, and then you and I will go off into the sunset together. And I will be grateful to you for this experience and will spoil you exclusively for the rest of our days. Travis listened intently, as she buttered her toast while talking about the most important thing in his life. It was so dispassionate. He had so many questions. Is it all because you want variety? Am I not enough for you? He asked, his voice creaking. She started to answer, but he cut her off. So, you want to live in an open marriage for a few years, then return to monogamy sometime in the future? Does this mean I can date others too? Lauren tried unsuccessfully to suppress her giggles. The idea of her sweet, quiet husband dating another woman was laughable. Travis was the most serious about marriage of any man she'd met. But if this was what it took for him to agree. In principle, yes, she answered. Of course, I assume that for you it will also be just intimacy. Travis raised his eyebrows and shrugged. Lauren had no idea what that meant, but then she had an idea. So, would you like to go on a date with Rose? You know, the very nice woman from my office. I'm sure she'd be happy to agree. She knew Rose would have no problem with a night with her husband if it helped Lauren. Travis looked puzzled. The lustful 21-year-old bachelor in him wanted Rose. The responsible 47-year-old married man knew he couldn't. I would be glad to have a date with Rose. But no, baby, thank you. That would make me as much of a traitor as you were last night. Lauren's face, which had been smiling, twisted into a grimace of anger. I am not a traitor, she screamed. Well, if you insist, baby, he said, far more seriously than she expected. But I still don't agree to it. Well, come to your senses, baby, because I will do this even if you don't, she snorted. Monday morning around 11, Rose walked into Lauren's office. Lauren didn't look happy. To hell with this bigot and the horse he came on, Lauren hissed, closing the door behind Rose. Damn it, he even refused to date you, Rose. Rose frowned. I didn't know I was on the menu, but to hell with it. How could he refuse this? She said, stroking her body. How about your date? Did you have a good time? Or did Travis ruin everything? The date was fantastic. Jonas definitely knows how to make a woman feel good. Lauren enthused. God, it's been so long since I felt another man. I definitely like the difference. Who do you think I should try next? They both laughed heartily. Lauren was encouraged that divorce papers hadn't been served. Since they had virtually no contact, she decided it was best not to ask about his plans. Although he didn't tell his wife, Travis really didn't want to rush into a divorce. He hoped she would come to her senses, drop her stupid plan. He believed he could forgive her if she stopped this nonsense. His hopes rose when Lauren didn't go on a date the following week, though he still hadn't returned to the bedroom, and communication was non-existent. However, the following Friday, Lauren was again dressed to the nines, clearly ready for a date. Are you seriously planning to do this again with the same guy? Or do you want to use someone else this week? Travis asked sharply. Damn, Trav, didn't you hear a word I said? It's not about you. It's about me and my desire to get something before I get too old to attract anyone. It's not that I want you less, I just want more and different. People constantly pester me. I just want to enjoy it. I will always come back to you, she said. What if I don't want you to come back to me? Travis thundered, his voice trembling. I won't share you. I won't sit idly by while you have fun. I'm not made for this. I won't wait until you try half the male population of our city. When you had your first date I wasn't sure, but I thought I could survive it once. That might have been extreme stupidity, but twice as extreme disrespect, extreme betrayal. Stay outside all night, party all night, we're done. This is not why I was created on this earth. WWW, she scoffed, wiggling her fingers. You don't want to lose me. It doesn't have to be an either/or situation, she said. Last week, Travis had instructed his lawyer to prepare all the necessary documents, hoping they wouldn't be needed. He planned to call his wife on Monday, but first, he needed to tell his two daughters. Neither 21-year-old Jackie nor 19-year-old Michelle outwardly believed their father when he called that evening. But after talking, he sensed his eldest daughter had suspected something was wrong. So you knew she was going to create this nightmare, and you didn't tell me? He shouted into the phone. You don't think I deserve to know what's going to happen? Please, Daddy, I was in a difficult situation. One of you wouldn't be happy with me no matter what I did. Besides, it's her body. It doesn't belong to you. And if she wants to share it... Stop! Travis bellowed. I understand she put you between us, but don't tell me she can do whatever she wants because this body is hers. We took vows. The oath abolishes talk about her body. I understand, but... Michelle muttered, then fell silent. Damn, baby. I'm sorry, Daddy, she whispered. When Lauren walked through the door at 2 a.m., Travis was nowhere to be seen. Even arriving an hour earlier than her previous date, she looked more disheveled. Gabriel Esposito was a big, strong man, perhaps the strongest Lauren had ever encountered in bed. By the end of the evening she could barely move. She knew she'd likely have bruises tomorrow. Overall it was a great night. She thought she could enjoy Gabriel another time. Lauren was shocked and embarrassed when she was handed divorce papers at her office on Monday morning. She burst into tears, running to the ladies' room. Minutes later Rose appeared. You should have known he would at least give you the documents, Rose said. You really hurt him, baby. This is his way of hurting you back. An eye for an eye. Men are such children. He's trying to force things. He won't give up his 23-year marriage and half his belongings. Give him a week to be alone and he'll come crawling back, she said, trying to comfort her. Straightening up, Lauren returned to her desk, grabbed her phone and dialed Travis. How could you do this to me in the office in front of everyone? I know you're hurting, but I deserve better, Trav, she screamed into the phone. After 23 years, don't I deserve something better than you unilaterally deciding to open our marriage? If I'm not right for you, couldn't you have just warned me in advance and we could have parted ways like civilized people? Travis's voice was calm, cutting. I don't want civility. I don't want a divorce. I still love you. You still love me, she wailed. I still love you, but every time you have a night with someone else that love diminishes, he growled. My love is not a bottomless well like yours. I always thought this was true. Who knows, maybe we were both wrong. Lauren fought for a divorce. Her lawyer requested marriage counseling. Travis was adamantly opposed, but he went. Lauren smiled, Travis frowned. As they were ushered into the consultant's inner sanctum, Lillian Kamek, the consultant, began. Let's start with correcting the errors. Let's start with the simplest thing, Mrs. Wesley. Did you really tell your husband that you were going to date other men for a few years? Travis tried his best to hide a smirk. Lauren tried her best to hide her shock. She thought about lying but realized she had no ready-made story. Yes, I told him about it, she answered quietly. That's what I want. I don't need him to do it for me. This won't affect our marriage. Well, I think we'll end here, the consultant said, cutting her off. Sorry to waste your time, Mrs. Wesley. I'll talk to the judge and end this farce. But, Lauren began to stutter. Honey, if you thought for even a minute that what you did to your husband would work with me, then you are crazy, Miss Kamek said, her voice dripping with disdain. You should be ashamed of yourself, but obviously you don't have an ounce of shame. Frankly, you disgust me. Over the next month, Lauren called and texted Travis multiple times a day as he rented a small apartment. He didn't answer. Then she turned to their daughters for help. Dad, you know you still love her. If she stopped dating other men, would you give her another chance? Michelle asked during one call. So she still continues to do this even after I served her? Travis asked, his voice trembling. Silence. That was all the answer he needed. Michelle didn't call again to ask him to try. Travis was surprised by how quickly word of his impending divorce spread, especially among single women. Several female colleagues offered condolences, as did women who were friends of both him and Lauren. He was smart enough to realize not all of their condolences were altruistic. Connie Mung, Lauren's longtime friend, called to express regret. She almost directly offered him a shoulder to cry on, and not just a shoulder. Travis was shocked. All these years she'd never even glanced at him. I would never pursue a friend's husband, it's just wrong, she told him. But now that you are a free man, the rules are different. I'm letting you know that I'm interested in you. Shocked, I'm flattered, but I'm not a free man yet, Connie. I won't date until the divorce is final. I know I'm being stupid, but I won't cheat. Travis said. You're such a Boy Scout, Trav. That's one of the things I like about you. Always liked it. Can you at least set me up on a date when you're free? Connie asked. Of course, Travis said. But I don't want to come between you and Lauren. You've been friends for many years. I appreciate your sensitivity, but just because it's stupid doesn't mean I should miss out on a good person. I wouldn't even think twice if you were just some guy I didn't know when we just met, Connie said. Maybe I'll call you when I take off the leash, Travis joked. Connie was a stunning Asian beauty, 5 feet tall, toned body, waist-length black hair. Travis was more than surprised by her interest. Travis was true to his word and called Connie the day his divorce became official. On Saturday evening, they went to a restaurant and a jazz club. Connie noticed Travis was awkward. I feel like an inexperienced 15-year-old, he replied. I haven't been on a date with another woman in over 26 years. Don't tell me the protection in your wallet is the same one you had on your last date before Lauren, she joked. Should I have had protection? Crap, I didn't even think about it. Well, I'm a noob, Travis replied. At the end of the evening, Connie kissed him tenderly. They both felt good. He promised to call again. Travis didn't think much about taking off his wedding ring, but apparently it was a big deal for single women. Several female employees noticed the empty space on his finger and commented. Suddenly, the flirting in his office noticeably increased. This was all new to him. One day over lunch, he told his best friend Robert about it. There are a lot of beautiful women in this office. How did I not notice this before? Travis asked. You, my friend, were just a terrible henpecked man, Robert said. You were so deeply in love with this woman that you didn't even look at other women as intimate beings. I mean, she is a beautiful woman, no doubt, but you let her put your courage in her purse. And maybe that was part of the problem. She is constantly being tested. It has value. And such a vibration emanated from you that not a single woman even looked at you in the first month after the divorce. In the first month after the divorce, Travis went on 4 dates, 2 with Connie. He hadn't slept with any of them yet, but that wasn't his goal. In the second month, he was just as in demand and slept with 2 women. Travis's daughters, who had been in contact with their mother more than their father, heard her constantly assert that while she could have any man with a snap of her fingers, their father was an ordinary man in his 40s who found it difficult to even find a mate, let alone a permanent girlfriend. They began to feel sorry for their father. One Saturday morning, about 2 months after the divorce, they showed up at his apartment, unannounced. Travis was unhappy to be woken at 8:36 a.m., especially since he'd entertained a companion until late the night before. Sonia, a stunning 25-year-old, was the daughter of a friend who needed a reliable gentleman for her wedding celebration. The evening went so well they decided to end it at Travis's apartment. She was still sleeping in his bed when he opened the door in his robe. What? He asked, seeing the smiling faces of his daughters, holding bags of bagels, smoked salmon and cream cheese. Hello, father. Could your 2 beloved daughters come over for breakfast? Jackie said as they entered. Travis kissed them and led them to the kitchen. They were just putting away the bagels when Sonia came out of the bedroom, wearing more of Travis's white shirts, half unbuttoned, and probably nothing else. Sorry, I didn't know you were expecting guests, baby, Sonia said. Mom said that you were your own boss. No, Sonia. These are my daughters Jackie and Michelle, he said, pointing. We were going to have breakfast bagel with salmon. Sonia giggled, causing her large chest to jiggle. She brushed her thigh against Travis's arm and sank into the chair next to him. They made small talk for a while until Jackie asked if Travis had spoken to Lauren lately. Travis frowned for the first time in days. Until that moment, he'd believed it was almost impossible to get upset when around Sonia, even if she was a little hard on his 48-year-old body. We have to tell you, Dad, we thought you were missing Mom, Michelle said. We know that she misses you, but I thought that when I was gone, she would live her life to the fullest. I know that I was an anchor for her, though she was hanging out with them two at a time in our old bed, Dad, Jackie exclaimed, while Sonia giggled and Michelle frowned. She's not a lecher, you know. Really think about this for a second. How many different guys has she had a night with since we broke up? And those that I knew about before I left. Both girls blushed and lowered their heads. Wow, if it's 2 guys a month for 10 months, that's 20 different guys. With 3 guys a month? 30 for me. That's a lot of guys, Sonia said. If looks could kill, Travis's daughters would have put Sonia in her grave in seconds. She was well aware of this. Hey, don't blame me if a woman can't keep her legs closed, Sonia said. Children, let's not ruin my good weekend, Travis said. Sorry, all 3 young women muttered at the same time. So, you are a couple? Jackie asked Sonia quietly. You don't look older than me. Your dad said that we are the same age. But don't worry, I'm not going to ever become your stepmother. We're just friends. He's a great guy. He was my date at the wedding reception last night and he's kind of a hottie. Did I mention that he's also a great guy? Well, we have to agree that he's a great guy, although we know he can be a bit of a jerk from time to time, Jackie said. And yeah, he's kind of hot for a guy who's old enough to be your dad. It was Sonia's turn to blush. Travis blushed too. Hey baby, remember that we have lunch with the newlyweds' families at the hotel at noon. I need to take a shower and grab some clothes from my apartment before we go, Sonia said. Both daughters rolled their eyes at their father. Mom, she's my age, Jackie told her mother over lunch a few weeks later. And it didn't look like a one-off. They spent quite a long time together. They enjoyed each other's company. I don't think he'll crawl to you soon, Mom. No, you just caught him on a lucky day. He was probably helping a friend's child and got lucky. She is probably a girl of easy virtue who will have intimacy with anyone. Your dad is a great guy, but he's not a stud, Jackie. Jackie raised her eyebrows at her mother. You always seemed pleased with him until you told him you were going to leave him. Why didn't you just cheat on him without telling him? Wouldn't that be a lot easier? You might as well have the cake and eat it too. That would be cheating, Jackie. And if he caught me, well, then we would break up. Having told him about this, I didn't cheat and was sure that he would give me what I wanted when he realized what exactly he would lose. I must admit I did not expect a divorce. I never thought he would have the guts to do it. Mom, I think you mistook love for weakness, and somewhere along the way you decided that everything depended solely on you. Was it all worth it? For the first time, Lauren's face showed the stress. Everything Rose had told her sounded so much better than it turned out. She couldn't tell her daughter that the intimacy was normal, but no, it wasn't worth it. She also couldn't tell her daughter that she never thought Travis would do anything other than sit around and pine for his beautiful ex-wife. She was so self-absorbed that she had no idea a handsome, intelligent man with great character and a solid job could be very attractive in the singles market, and not just for middle-aged women. She knew that after the divorce, her ex-husband dated several women, including her old friend Connie, and now with some young woman the same age as their eldest daughter. Instead of sitting at home and mourning, he was dating like a 20-year-old and getting more attention than he deserved. She didn't confront Connie when she first found out her friend was dating her ex, figuring it was some pity date. But the second date was completely unnecessary. She cornered Connie privately, her voice loud. I thought we were friends, Connie. You should be on my side. We girls have to have each other's backs. But he didn't do anything wrong to you, Lauren, Connie replied, her voice firm. And he is a good guy. Great. He is everything I want in a man. Why wouldn't I date Trev? Hell, women are lining up to go on dates with him. He's prime-age beef on the hook, girl, and he is a great gentleman and great in bed too. I will go on a date with him anytime he invites me. How could you drive such a man away? Lauren stared at her friend, mouth agape. She was just beginning to realize her mistake was growing by leaps and bounds. She loved Travis and she hated coming back to an empty house. She hated sleeping alone. Travis, of course, couldn't have imagined his life becoming so exciting. He would have been quite happy if his old, boring life had remained as it was. But other than that, life suited him quite well. Work was good. Social life was great. He enjoyed being with several women of different ages, and most of his dates ended in bed. He certainly wasn't looking for a long-term partner at the moment, but he sure enjoyed the smorgasbord. There's more to life than just being married to a beautiful woman. Mara Goodling, 60 years old with shoulder-length silver hair, streaked with purple, emerging from a baseball cap. Her Cubs t-shirt hugged her ample chest. Her levis clung to her figure. Despite her age, she drew more than her share of stares at Wrigley Field. One of the people looking at her appraisingly was Travis Wesley, his ex-wife's former colleague. He and Travis were at a Cubs game. Mara had worked with Lauren Wesley for over 15 years. I met Travis at several corporate events where he accompanied his then-wife and always thought he was a handsome and pleasant guy, she thought. She knew he and Lauren had divorced 2 years ago. Mara had been a widow for about 5 years. Her husband died in a car accident. She had only been on one date since. She found Travis's number. Yes, Travis remembered her. It was hard to forget a woman who exuded style and beauty. He would like to go to dinner with her. Absolutely, he replied. This was months before. Their first date was at an expensive restaurant, followed by a concert. The evening ended with a tender kiss at her front door. The second date was a Saturday hike. She giggled several times when a clearly tired Travis had to take short breaks. She and her late husband were avid climbers. He thought he was in shape, but he was wrong. He also learned Mara had a toned body and mesmerizing gray eyes. The date ended with them making tender love on her living room rug after a steamy make-out session on the sofa. She intrigued him with her combination of wealthy class and girl-next-door freshness. Mara happily agreed when Travis suggested a sightseeing weekend in Chicago for their third date. On their first date, Mara told Travis she had no intention of telling Lauren they were dating. Fast, she wouldn't deny it, but she wouldn't advertise it. Mara also told Travis that Lauren told coworkers that she and Travis were divorcing due to irreconcilable differences. Travis told Mara the same story he told everyone else. Lauren had cheated on him with at least 2 different men. He didn't elaborate. In the 2 years since his divorce, Travis had developed several strong relationships and enjoyed what he considered an amazing intimate life. All of his partners had a good opinion of him, and some of them hoped they would be considered when Travis decided to trust women again and get married. Lauren worked in a different direction. As she told her then-husband before her first date, she was simply looking for satisfaction. While she still had the looks to attract almost any man, she was not looking for an emotional relationship like most of her partners. This major difference would be a problem for Jackie. She and her mother were deep in wedding preparations, which her father was happily paying for. When Lauren told her daughter she thought both parents should attend the wedding unaccompanied, to avoid tension, Jackie quickly agreed and relayed it to her father. Does this brilliant idea come from you or your mother? Travis asked sternly. I plan to bring a lady with me. I'm paying for this holiday, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with the one I bring. Hell, I've been taking dance lessons for about a year now. Ever since you announced your engagement. You've taken dance lessons seriously just for my wedding? This is so cute. But no buts, Jackie. She apparently doesn't have anyone she considers close enough to invite, so she's trying to put pressure on me. And again, she acts like a selfish jerk and tries to manipulate the situation in her favor. Sorry, baby, but I won't be showing up to my daughter's wedding without a date. If you don't have the courage to tell her, then I certainly will. She can go alone or take a gentleman with her. That's her business. I'll bring the lady with me. Got it, Dad, I will tell her. Your point is correct, and I really want to see you dance, but could you still bring someone older than me? I can do this, baby, but you really should watch how Sonia and I dance. Travis smiled widely, and received a wide smile in response. Travis took Connie with him to the wedding. He thought she looked great in the sea green dress he'd bought and paid for. They'd argued about it, but Travis explained that since he was the father of the bride and would be wearing a tuxedo, she needed a new dress, which he would happily buy. And yes, I understand that it also requires shoes, he told her with a wide smile. Walking his eldest daughter down the aisle was one of the greatest and worst experiences of Travis's life. All the other fathers who had told him it would happen hit the mark. Still, it was a wonderful day. He, Connie, and his children had fun, dancing until late. The only discord was his ex-wife's appearance with her own gentleman. Not that Travis cared, but the guy spent most of the first part of the wedding smirking at Travis, and most of the second part staring and groping several women like an obnoxious drunk, until Jackie asked her mother to remove the guest. Lauren, clearly embarrassed, apologized profusely and quickly ushered the man out. Lauren still took the time to follow Connie into the women's restroom. You're the one who stole my man, she said to Connie. I'm sorry, but I've never stolen a man from anyone, Connie answered. Calmly. He divorced you before we even started dating. You have no one to blame for this divorce but yourself. You threw away a great man for cheap nights. Lauren's face turned purple. Her eyes, initially staring intently, dimmed. She lowered her head and stood motionless as Connie walked out the door. Connie never said a word to Travis or the family, not wanting to ruin their special day. A few months after the wedding, Michelle visited her father and seemed restless. Travis watched her for a moment. Okay, Mitch, what's going on? You've been kind of nervous all evening. Michelle blushed deeply and began to stutter. Travis knew something was very wrong. Dad, you know Mom talks about getting back together with you from time to time, about how she will win you over when she stops having intimacy with other guys. You two didn't have a night or anything, did you? She asked. My nightlife is none of your business, young lady, Travis snapped. But no, I didn't sleep with your mother. And what? Yes. The fact is that she has a venereal disease, Dad. I heard the end of her conversation with her friend Rosa, and she said that she had syphilis, Michelle said quietly, not looking her father in the eyes. Travis looked surprised, then sad, as Michelle watched him from the corner of her eye. I guess you're telling me this because you're worried about me, Travis said. But it is standard state policy to tell all possible recipients of the disease that they need to be tested. I didn't know that. I was just worried about you, Dad, she said. I know Mom is still sleeping around. Several of my friends warned me that she was quite promiscuous. It's always awkward when a friend tells you that your mom isn't perfect. A few days later, Travis received an unpleasant call from Mara. He immediately realized she was worried about the same things as Michelle, though she obviously also had concerns about her own health. If you're wondering if I slept with my ex, the answer is not just no but hell no, Travis said. Believe me, Mara, I understand your concern, but I can't help the fact that my ex is a scandal. The scandal is the nicest thing I've heard about her in a long time. In recent months, her activities outside the home have become the subject of gossip on the sidelines. It seems like the longer she's single, the more she loses her guard, Mara said. Lauren used her STD as a starting point in her plan to get Travis back. She was satisfied she'd had enough men for the rest of her life. 6 months after the doctor declared her cured, she began her plan. She was still slightly resentful of Travis for divorcing her the first time, which wasn't her original plan. This new plan might have worked if other women hadn't started hunting Travis. Lauren had no doubt she was a treasure. She didn't expect Travis to be as attractive to other women. I know he's a great guy, but can't these women see that he's nowhere near my level of intimacy? She said to Rose one day as both sipped margaritas waiting for their dates. Rose had pushed her friend to her current lifestyle. She knew Travis was handsome, but she greatly underestimated the depth of his personality, partly because he always obeyed his wife. She expected Travis to just sit around and mope while his wife had fun with other men. Who knew Travis had such an inner core? Lauren and Rose had been keeping an eye on Travis since Lauren gave him the ultimatum. In truth, his post-divorce life was almost as intense as Lauren's. If Lauren had been more honest with herself, she might have admitted her ex-husband's intimate life seemed much better from an emotional standpoint. Travis was more than surprised by the voice on the other end of the line. He hadn't spoken to his ex-wife for almost 2 years. One of his daughters must have given her his new cell phone number. He hadn't forbidden them, but he'd said he didn't consider it necessary to ever speak to her directly again. Hi, Trev, she purred in her sweetest tone. I think it's time for us to talk. I thought we shouldn't talk until Mel got married. But since this is not yet the case, maybe we will return to silence again, Travis said. Still the same Travis. Still trying to deny that you love me. But you know what? You love me. You know you want me back. Still the same Travis, he replied, a chilling calmness in his voice. You still think that everything revolves around you. Look, Trav, I know you're still mad at me, but I really love you. I probably should have just cheated on you and kept you in the dark, but that would have been cheating. It was still cheating, Lauren. Just because you told me you were going to do it doesn't make it any less real. You did it because you thought I would never give up on you. Do you think I'm that pathetic, Lauren? Travis said, his voice rising but still controlled. I know you think you're a 10, hell a 12, but more than that, you're gorgeous. I don't have to live in your shadow, as the last few years have shown me. I am not just the husband of a beautiful woman. Other women want what I have to offer, and are willing to repay me emotionally. My last few years have been absolutely wonderful. Why would I want to date a selfish woman again who clearly doesn't respect me, and no matter what she says, doesn't love me the way I loved her? Loved her in the past tense. After disconnecting, Travis put down the phone and turned to the woman next to him. Are you ready for the second round? He asked Sonia. Sonia eventually found her soulmate and married him. But Connie and Mara continued their relationship with Travis. He fell in love with both of them in his own way, but never married again. They also loved him in their own way, and both women accepted this unconventional relationship. Moreover, a few years later, both were invited to attend the wedding of his second daughter, Michelle, with Travis. This did not please Lauren, who didn't invite her boyfriend to the wedding. She complained to her daughter, but Michelle didn't support her. After me, Jackie and her family, Connie and Mara are the two closest people in the world to Dad, Michelle answered. They love Dad for who he is and put him above their own selfish interests, which not everyone can say about themselves. He was yours and you left him for more intimacy, simply because you were afraid of getting old and thought that he had no other options. That he would never give up on you, not for anything and not for anyone. Travis was happy with his life, even if it wasn't his first choice. He left a situation he considered unacceptable. Lauren's life was not one of loneliness and remorse. After all, she was still a beautiful woman, and beautiful women often just need to show up for men to start hitting on them. Lauren was often approached and had quite a few short-term relationships. However, none of them developed into anything long-term. Looking back, Lauren had to admit she regretted telling her husband she was going to leave him, only because she still couldn't come to terms with the fact that Travis had given up on her so easily. How could she have miscalculated so badly? She often wondered to herself. She was a 12 out of 10, but he was only a 6.